Hello, I'm Bob from Bob's Workshop. This is my first video of 2026. Today is January 2nd, so Happy New Year, and I hope you had a Merry Christmas. In today's episode, I would like to show you a little display area that I made for showing off my 1/43rd scale cars above my Lionel O-scale layout. Here it is, and I hope you like it.
There is an empty spot on my layout that I always planned to use in displaying a few 1/43rd scale cars. December rolled around and I've finally gotten to work on it. I began with a template made from scraps of mat board. 5 little cars should fit comfortably, and I could possibly even squeeze in a 6th. I traced the mat board outline onto 1/8 inch plywood, cut it out on my table saw, sanded it, and began marking where heavy wooden support beams would go. Those beams are made from scrap 2x4s, which I also cut at my table saw. I showed that process in a few other videos, but too many people left comments about how unsafe my methods are, so I'm not going to show you that part. I will say that the paramedics who showed up this time were really nice. I like to use carpenter's wood glue on these projects. When it's dry, the bond is very strong and even waterproof. I was going to use long pieces of these pine strips for every beam, but I wasn't sure I'd have enough to finish. So now every other beam is short. No one will ever see, plus I think I might need to run some wiring under here in the future. This is just the base, and it turned out to fit pretty nicely. When I'm done, the whole section will be removable so that I can have access to wires that will eventually run behind the drywall. I used another section of 1/8 inch plywood for the back wall, but the rest of the assembly will be made from foam core. The first structure turned out to be a practice piece because it didn't fit quite right. The final version, though, will be glued down one wall at a time, using both carpenter's glue and hot glue. I decided to add some kind of stone tiles or possibly their concrete squares. I want those on the base. So I used a hot wire cutter to make a bunch of thin strips from XPS Foam Insulation. And I will be laying them at a diagonal to the back wall. I've made a few other buildings, structures, or retaining walls from these materials before. For those projects, I relied more heavily on hot glue. But for this display, I'm using more carpenter's wood glue. The initial grab strength is good, but the setting time takes longer, which gives me more time to position the various pieces. A wadded up ball of aluminum foil will add a nice slate-like texture to each little square. Just rolling it around in random circles is enough to make the insulation look like a natural limestone or perhaps a poured cement. The effect isn't especially noticeable now, but it will really look good after painting, dry brushing, and a wash of diluted brown. I'll make a few doors from thin wooden strips glued down to mat board. Once they're solidly in place, I use the back edge of a utility knife blade to create texture in each piece. The back is going to be a combination of stone blocks and a stucco wall around the doors. XPS Foam Insulation is very easy to cut and carve. Some of these blocks were cut by hand, but I also used a hot wire cutter to mass produce some of the more numerous elements. Drywall compound mixed with a dash of water will fill in these stucco areas. It may take 2 coats, but when it's all dry, any high spots or visible brush strokes can be smoothed over with just a damp rag. This is a garage that I started but will never finish. It doesn't really match the style or the look of my layout now. I could make a new roof from scratch, but instead I'm going to save some time and recycle this one. point, I'd like to add LEDs under the roof and also inside the corner office. But for now, I'm just going to add this little support section that will be removable, just like the roof. Initially, when I planned this area, the whole thing was going to be enclosed like a new car showroom. But when I did the back wall and the doors, I realized how hard it would be to see them, and I'm kind of proud of how they turned out. So only this one section will be covered by a roof, for now. I've just been using cheap acrylic craft paint from Walmart on this project. The wash here is just a diluted warm brown, and when it's dry, I'll come back with a small brush to pick out various edges and highlighted areas. I want this new addition to my layout to have the look and feel of something that's European and maybe hundreds of years old. Almost every part of this so far has been made from wood, foam core, or XPS insulation, but the one window I need will be made from strips of styrene plastic. The wooden doors were first painted black before I came back with several shades of brown and tan. The texture made from the utility knife really shows up at this point because of the black undercoat. Here's the window after being painted. I glued a piece of oversized clear plastic to the backside, and then painted the outer areas in flat black. The whole window assembly will be attached from the inside of the window opening. The black will prevent any light from the future LEDs from bleeding out along the edges. Before the final installation, I want to add curtains, which are simply made from a piece of copier paper that was given a thin wash of brown. Then I made some random accordion folds to simulate messy drapery. Attaching the curtains is done with a thin strip of hot glue placed on the sides behind the window. I will also use hot glue from inside the building or behind the wall to secure the window frame in the window opening. I think a small LED inside the room should be able to produce a nice warm glow through these paper curtains. You may be noticing that black horizontal space between the wooden timbers and the flat stonework that the cars sit upon. I left that channel or gutter there because a full wall with windows could eventually slide into that spot. It's bugging me a little bit right now, so I might build a temporary short wall that can just drop into place. But that will be a project for another day. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and until next time, this has been Bob's Workshop. Take care.